how does Cartagena as a city differ from the other cities in Colombia? Is there a difference?
Yeah, Cartagena is like a major tourist city. It's where all the Colombians go to feel safe.
Okay.
And so it's a tourist city, and so there's all sorts of nightclubs and restaurants.
So there's a ton of things to do then
Yes,
all the time.
And the city's very actually small. It's built up, so it's very convenient getting around. It never costs you more than like $2 or $3 to go anywhere by cab. And most places you can walk around.
Cartagena, Colombia. We have a tour coming up very shortly, guys. And we are joined today by one of the biggest advocates of that Cartagena tour, Kenneth Agee.
Yes, I love Cartagena. It's one of the most beautiful cities and funnest cities we go to.
For those of you that don't know Kenneth, he's one of the co-founders. He's been around this whole thing now for a quarter of a century. And he's been to all kinds of different destinations. And I think Cartagena is one of your favorite destinations.
It is one of my favorites. It's one of the most convenient, easygoing cities, and the girls are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful there. I think one of the biggest differences in Colombia is Colombian people are very family orientated. They stay in big groups. You know, the grandparents will live with their children and their grandchildren. They all live in one house. So they're very, very family oriented, very family motivated, which is a nice attribute, you know, because that's what you want. If you're married a woman, you want to start a family.
Right.
You want someone that's very, very pro-family.
Absolutely. And what about when you first meet? Do you think that they're friendlier than some other?
That is one thing. Colombian women, just Colombian people in general, are probably some of the most friendliest people you'll ever meet. When you walk onto the elevator, everybody says hello and greets you.
Yeah.
You almost never see that.
Right. It's that big smile,
yeah.
that big warmth that you
and
feel.
People actually engage you in conversations, you know, in the elevators or walking around or just in general. Right. So it's probably one of the most friendly, warmest people I've ever met in my life.
As a company, we do tours and socials in many different markets around the world, and they differ sometimes. So in Colombia and in Cartagena, on the tour that's coming up, what can the men expect at the social? How's that social going to be run?
The social is kind of like, I always like to refer to as like speed dating on steroids. About every 15 minutes, we'll move the men from one table to the other. And typically there'll be 4 to 5 women plus your translator at each table.
For someone who doesn't really understand, you said plus a translator. Isn't that more like a matchmaker type person that's with you, like a wing woman? Explain that a little bit more.
So when the men get there, we'll assign them the matchmaker translator, and they get to know the client very well. And that way, when they're going from table to table, she helps interact with all the different women and get to understand what the women are looking for and what he's looking for. Because as you go through it, she'll get a good understanding of what you're looking for. And she helps filter out the girls that meet those qualifications or don't meet those qualifications.
So we're not just throwing guys into a room with, 150, 200 women and just, go and good luck. You actually have this person at your side all night going from table to table with you, right?
Yeah, and plus because she's talking and interacting with the girls, she can actually get a good feel of which girls really would be interested in you.
So getting back to the dating on steroids, so you're going with your matchmaker from table to table. Is it a timed thing, or how's it?
It's basically 15 minutes, and we'll ring a bell, give you a 1-minute warning to kind of close your communications up and maybe exchange contact information or arrange dates, and then move to the next table. And the tables are all numbered, so it's very organized.
So the purpose of that is to facilitate everyone meeting everyone? Is that the idea?
So that way you get to meet every single lady there.
Is there any time afterwards to go back to the women that you feel more comfortable with?
Afterwards, it's kind of a mixer then.
Okay.
So you have about a half an hour after where we have entertainment and dancing and stuff.
So that you can go back to free flow and go back to wherever you want to go, right? And sometimes, at least the ones that I've been to, can actually extend another hour or after, it's supposed to close at like 10 or 11, whenever it is, but a lot of times.
Yeah, it usually takes probably an hour and a half for everybody to slowly clear out. And then sometimes everybody goes out in a group someplace too.
Okay. What's the English speaking capability of most of the women there?
I'm going to say it's probably between 25 and 50%, depending on the list that the men send in. Because the men can send in a list of like 10, 15 women that they would like to meet at the social event. Then our matchmakers there make the best effort to get them to come to the social events. So it depends on the list, because some guys go strictly by appearance and certain characteristics, and they don't worry about the English, because we get a lot of guys that do speak Spanish that go there too.
What are the ratios of women to men at the social?
Typically, it's always about 6 to 7 to 1. So
Good odds, guys. Very good odds. You're meeting a lot of different women. But it's not just these tours. There's so many different layers to these tours, how I always talk about that. And it's not just the socials, but how many socials are there?
we do 2 social events there.
And are there different women attending each event?
And yes, it has to be completely different women. We don't allow the women to come to 2 events.
Okay. So you have those 2 vehicles, those 2 socials that you get to meet all these different women, and that's wonderful. But then after that, what's happening? I mean, as far as support for meeting.
After that, we constantly do introductions. So if you come in the office and you don't have a date, they'll either call someone you met at the social, or you can go through the catalogs and pick somebody else that you haven't met that you're interested in meeting. Or maybe you saw a girl on the site, but she wasn't able to come to the social, but she'll go on a date.
Okay, so the staff is there in the hospitality room of the office working with you throughout the whole tour, right? And
Yes.
just trying to arrange the different dates and making suggestions.
Yeah, and we've had guys go out on dates before the first social and actually meet that person before they even get to the socials too.
So that tour always starts on a Thursday, correct?
Always on a Thursday, and then on the Friday morning we do the orientation, then we do a little city tour, and then we do the social event. So we keep everybody pretty busy, and some of the tours down there we actually have excursions that we do too.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, what are some of the fun things to do in Cartagena?
There's a party cove where all the Colombians go, and we take the guys out there, and it's all these nice boats out there, and it's like shallow water, like 3 feet deep, and everybody's kind of walking. They actually got cabanas out on the water, and you kind of sit under it, and people come around and sell fresh lobster and bring you drinks and stuff. And
Are you taking dates? It's
yes.
the
And
idea,
actually,
guys.
the way Maria does it, she always invites 3 or 4 extra girls too. So
Just in case.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
All right. So you've been at this for a long time, Ken. You've been doing this for a quarter of a century. How does a man who hasn't done a whole lot of dating, how do you recognize when a woman's really interested in you?
oh, well, I mean, obviously, it's the body language.
Okay.
You know, if she's turned towards you, I mean, showing interest.
Easy there,
And
mister.
of course, I mean,
Okay, go ahead. I'm just kidding.
of course, the flicking of hair, pampering herself.
Okay.
You know, doing things. You know, if she's showing her neck to you, and obviously always having her legs folded across to you, shows body.
So body language. So if we're going out on 2 or 3 dates and we're not to the point where I can at least maybe hold a hand or something like that, is that a cultural thing, or is that like she's just not that into me?
If she pulls away when you try to hold her hand, then yeah,
Okay.
that's
All right.
she's not interested.
Because public signs of affection are okay in Latin America?
Yeah, but it depends, and it depends, how it's moving along. I mean, you don't want to be sitting there getting touchy-feely, in the first 5
10
minutes.
minutes, yeah,
I mean, you probably wouldn't really want to do that at a social event.
Okay. Are these tours expensive? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think they're relatively expensive at all. I mean, if you went on any tour to any place in the world, our tours are very competitive to those.
Just regular tours,
Yeah.
without the dating?
Yeah, if you just book a regular tour package with anybody, it would actually be more. And we get guys that have gone on a lot of tour packages, and they go, God, this is so much better. If I was staying when I went on a tour, then I'm sitting in my room at night with nothing to do. And with yours, I meet the guys in the morning, then we go and do the events, I go dating, and then at the end of the evening, I hook up with the guys, and we all exchange information and talk. So there's always people around. I'm never lonely. Even if the guys aren't around, I go to the office and meet everybody there. So it's just this constant
Okay.
of
Yeah,
being
so much support.
interactive with people instead of just going out sightseeing and then coming back and sitting in a hotel room in the evening.
All right, so any last words you'd like to say to anybody out there?
Well, everybody that goes on the tour always wishes they would have done it much earlier.
That's for sure.
The regret is always, I wish I would have done this earlier.
And guys, the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to have a vacation of a lifetime. You're really going to love all the different layers that are the tour, right? I want you to, be nice to Ken when you're there on the tour. Don't give him too much of a hassle. You can have fun with him. He's pretty easygoing
You'll
guy.
love
so,
Cartagena.
yeah.
You'll love it.
It's a lot of fun. We look forward to seeing you there. If you have any questions, give us a call. We're real easy to find here, 602-553-8178, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And we hope to see you there. Escape the Snow, January. Check it out. All right? All right, guys.